Dumubewe o Maria, Dumubewelia Bia, Dumubewelia Bia, Dumubewe o Maria. Gismo, Gismo the video man. Dumubewe o Maria, Dumubewelia Bia, Dumubewelia Bia, Dumubewe o Maria. Gismo, Gismo the video man.
So, welcome to Video Man and Gismo's channel. I just found out today that I need to do this update for my movie collection because I need to stack some of the films in the shelves because it's no more room. Yeah, I haven't bought much actually the last let's say the last 4 months maybe. But there has come in some. But I also went through most of my collection now to see if there were any movies that I forgot that I bought for the last 1.5 years that I didn't include in my last video. So there was some. So I will try to go through this as I did last time, as quick as I can. But it never goes as quick as I hope for. Yeah, and there are many more movies that I have gotten but I haven't seen yet, so I will only talk about movies that I have seen or that I know I will be keeping in my collection, because that's a big important reason to talk about. First one up is a movie called Men and Chicken. This is directed by the same dude who did Adam's Apples, writer of Justice, Flickering Lights, so he's done good films. This is a dark comedy from 2015. You have Mats Mikkelsen in this film, Nikolai Liakos and David Densik. So 2 people actually who have been in the Bond franchise, so that's cool. It's a Danish film, so we'll see if that's any good. Next one up is a movie I've seen tons of times. I have it on DVD. I don't think I tried to look everywhere if I had it on Blu-ray, so I'm super happy to have it now at least, and it's Smala Susie or Slim Susie. This is a 2003 coming-of-age comedy from Sweden. Back then we had a lot of these films like Fucking Åmål or Hipp Hipp Hurra, Barabea. It was like Sweden and Norway who produced a lot of these films. This is one of my absolute favorite, and actually one of my favorite of all time when it comes to coming of age films. It's a really fun one. Tuva is really good in this one, and I think this is the film where she got kind of notice. So highly recommend people to check that one out. Next one up is a movie from Denmark, I think. It's called The Revenge of the Necromancer in English, or in German, I even like that title a bit better, Necromancers Stay Metal. Bård Ove, I think this is his last film, or at least one of his last films he did before he passed away. I worked with Bård Ove a couple of times, really great actor. And black metal, horror comedy, could be good, who knows. Next one up was a movie I had to grab since I worked on this one. I was the production designer. It's called Almost Die. I'm not a big fan of this film. I think I collect all Scandinavian films, and plus if I worked on them I need to just have a copy. But it's not really my type of film. But I have a lot of friends in this film. Marte Sætren, Victoria Winge, Julia Schacht. So there's a lot of friends that are in front of the camera here. It really flopped on cinema when it was released in Norway, and I think it's available on Amazon. That's where I saw it, at least. Kung Fu Panda 4. So I have not seen the fourth one yet. I like the first 2. I think the third one was okay. But I mostly buy these films because they have Norwegian language to choose from here, and I'm thinking of my daughter when she gets older. Kind of fun for her to see. Inside Out 2. I haven't seen the first Inside Out, but I have it. Also Norwegian language you can choose from here. So yeah, I'm happy to have it in the collection. Next one up is Chaplin. So this is a 1992, I think it was, comedy drama, actually, more of, I would say, with Robert Downey Jr., where he plays Chaplin. If I remember rightly, I haven't seen this for many, many years, but I really digged it. I remember I always compared it a little bit with Amadeus from the 80s, also a movie I really like. It's kind of a drama with comedic elements to it. Yeah, but it's directed by Richard Attenborough, and I don't know. I liked some of his films, but I haven't been fan of everything he has done. Everything he has done through his career. And I finally upgraded this film. So I showed it already on my channel before. Salute of the Jugger, or The Blood of Heroes, as it's called in America. It's a 1989 Australian. Doesn't really count as an exploitation film, but I count it as one. But I showed my VHS here some months ago on my channel. This is a post-apocalyptic sport film, I would call it, maybe. It doesn't focus that much on the sport, but it's still something I took from it that I always remember from it. And you have, of course, Richard Hauer and Yuan Chen, work with her as well on a movie called Wonderland that was shot in LA. Yeah, I don't know if I have so much. Yeah, you also have, I think it's the first serious role, Vincent, what's his name again? D'Onofrio or something like that, the guy from Full Metal Jacket. I think this was his first serious role after he played in Full Metal Jacket. And it's David Webb is his name, yeah, who directed it. And yeah, he's more known for his writing. People probably know him from writing Blade Runner and 12 Monkeys. He has done tons of shit. Next one up here is one of my top 3 war movies ever, Das der Untergang, and it's Downfall is the English title for it. Man, this is a great film. This movie is close to perfection. I love it for everything. I just love the back and forward from the street shots and inside a bunker. And Bruno Ganz plays probably one of top 3, top 5 best roles ever done on film. It's just an incredible achievement of him, and this is a movie I can go back to often. It's but I only had it on DVD. I actually saw it for a stream we had earlier, and I forgot that I had a DVD, or like I saw it on DVD. But I have a beautiful steelbook of it on DVD, so that's probably the reason. Yeah, but watch it. The director who did this also has done one of the other German films that I put high up there, Das Experiment. Immaculate. So I wasn't the biggest fan of this film. I think I gave it 5 out of 10. I do like Sydney Sweeney. I think she's both hot, but also she kind of is risky in roles, and that's what we need nowadays. I'm so tired of this bitches from Hollywood. Sorry, no, but rich girls or rich women who doesn't want to do anything in front of the camera. I think Sydney Sweeney knows what sells, and I think she's cool. There are some good cinematography in this one. DP work is pretty decent, but I felt it was kind of leaning too much on the classic non-exploitation films in a way, and it didn't really achieve that. So next one up is Heart of Oak. This is a French documentary, but it's also sold as an adventure film, so I'm hoping it's more or less like The Bear or something like that, where we are following a story with these oaks. But yeah, I have no idea. The only thing I read was that it was financed by ONF, and I think that was some sort of state funding kind of protection program for forest and climate and stuff like that in France. But I'm just hoping it's real animals and no CGI shit. Next one up is Civil War. So yeah, as you know, the people who follow my channel, I didn't like this film that much. I didn't hate it. I gave it 5 out of 10, and it's pretty decent for a new film for me. But I think the problem with this film is that it's a boring executing. It has like an interesting plot, kind of a cool concept to it, and yeah. But Alex, I think Garland, he's a mixed bag for me, because through his career, I think that Ex Machina is close to a perfect film in my book. But Annihilation has some scenes in it that are fucking amazing. But then there is so much boring shit, bad character drama, and the ending is just... Ugh. So it's kind of... He is a really mixed bag to me. In Men, yeah, I kind of loved the suspense in Men, and the music was banger, and the look of it was great. But it kind of missed kind of the main reason why it was made, I felt. It was kind of a little bit shallow. A Time to Kill. So this is a 90 thriller that is a lot of fun, I think. Kevin Spacey, Matthew McConaughey, Samuel L. Jackson, Donald Sutherland, Oliver Platt, Kiefer Sutherland. There is so many great actors in this, and probably the two that sells the film or sold the film back in the days, I would think, was Sandra Bullock and Ashley Judd. I don't know that, but I would believe so. They were pretty big back in the days. What I remember from this, it's been years since I saw it, but I remember it was something about KKK, and I think Sam Jackson had experienced some terrible things, but because he was black, nobody believed him or something like that. But I need to rewatch it. I really liked it when I was younger. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Talking about a movie that I really, really liked. And I've seen this many, many times. And I was surprised that I didn't have a Blu-ray copy of it. But yeah, this is one of my absolute favorites from Coen. It's a film that feels like a mix between classic American narrative and maybe early 80s Chinese films, or the storytelling from China. It has a structure or a story that's easy to follow, but it doesn't feel, when you have seen the film, it doesn't really feel like it had a narrative to go to, if that makes sense. And it has a killer song, beautiful cinematography, and super sexy girls. And yeah, I think it's a happy-go-lucky film. I really dig this one. Highly recommend it to everybody. And John Goodman, one of his best roles in this is in this film. It's really, really cool. Next one up is another war movie that I put high up there. Maybe this is my second or third best war movie ever. It's up there, like on the top spot. So Das Boot, yeah, German masterpiece. Everything in this film feels real. That's something I think UK and America and other countries have struggled with, but I do think Germany and Russia has always managed to deliver the war movies that feels 100% real. It's insane. So this is the 209-minute director's cut of the film. It's the version I've seen the most. And I also think this was the one that got a new sound score, or like a restoration of the sound, if I remember rightly. I'm not completely sure about that. And this is also the one I would say is the best version of the film. But when I was a kid, I watched both the theatrical cut, but also the VHS cut or TV cut of the film. And I really missed that one. I really want to see it again, but it's impossible to find. I think that one was almost 300 minutes long. So I really want to see it. It's not long ago I saw Das Boot, actually. I think I saw it a month ago or something, 2 months ago. But it's a movie I've seen many, many times. Blazing Saddles. So I didn't like this film when I was a kid, but I rewatched it 3 years ago or something on my stinking DVD. Yeah, I think this must be one of the funniest movies from America in the history of time. at least during after the after the 60s. It's a really fun time, and it's also kind of like those films where it's so easy to watch, makes you smile in a way. I don't know, I really dig this film, so I'm looking forward to go back and see it now on Blu-ray. I think Mel Brooks must have been a genius. And it's so sad that he didn't make more films. He had like Spaceballs that I really love, and he have Young Frankenstein. I think that must be his best work, actually. But I also liked Robin Hood Men in Tights, but I need to check that one out again. It's been years. Oh man, another war movie that I love, and this film needs a 4K. This is so damn good. It's actually from the producer, as you see here, from Das Boot. But yeah, talking about a movie that feels real, this is probably the second hardest experience, if you like, in a warfare, that the Battle of Stalingrad. I would compare it a little bit also with what happened in China, but that was more of a massacre. Stalingrad was two sides that were, man, it's rough to even read or watch stuff from that warfare. Like it's insane, and I don't think you can top that in any movie you make after this one, because I do think this managed to capture exactly how it was. Even though I know that the writer of this film was disappointed that I went with a different direction. He wanted it to be more close to reality. But I do think this is as close as you get if you want to have it on a film. It's, yeah, it's insane. So I think this is the long version. It's only 4 minutes longer, but I checked it before I bought it and checked the running time. It didn't say that for sure, but... And I was shocked I didn't have Amelie on Blu-ray. I have it on DVD, but this is probably the best feminist movie, love story movie ever told, I would say. I can be on board with this kind of feminist stories, because this is more a fairy tale told through a woman's mind. Of course through a man's mind, because he's the one telling the fucking story, but... yeah, I think it's an insanely beautiful film. The production design, colors, cinematography, it's actually probably the best looking film ever made in my opinion. Because everything blend together in such a beautiful kind of way that I can't think of a movie that looks better than this one. It's kind of what Wes Anderson always hoped he could do. But it's no wonder. The director, Pierre Jeunet, he... have done many movies that are up there. Delicatessen is one of them, and City of Lost Children, of course, and Alien Resurrection. Shh. No, but Alien Resurrection is kind of fun. Okay, so it's the Norwegian classic series. I got 3 new from them now. The Telegraphist. This is filmed in the north of Norway. Incredible backdrop where I'm from. You have Bjørn Floberg in this one, Bjørn Sundquist, Maria Bonnevie, Reidar Sørensen. Maria Bonnevie, she is always something I want in the films. This came out in early 90s. I think I must have been like 11, 12 when I saw this on cinema. And I think it was through school. I remember I enjoyed it a bit. And also the cinematographer on this one is Philip Øgård, a person I worked with tons of times on films. He's one of the big names in DP work in Norway. And here is Voyage to Melonia. This is a Swedish-Norwegian animation. I would call it more of a Swedish animation, since the director is Swedish. Most of the money came from Sweden. And yeah, I think we are bragging a little bit by calling it Norwegian-Swedish. But Per Olin, who directed this one, or created this film, if you like, he also created some characters that I really adored as a kid, or for animation though, for live action animation. No, not live action, but for film. Laban and also Åberg. I had a lot of Åberg books when I was in kindergarten. But yeah, it's nice to see this film get restored and everything. I kind of didn't love the film. I thought it was okay, But it felt like, I think it lasted for 1 hour and 40 or something, but it felt like it lasted for fucking 3 hours in the end. But I did like some of the characters. The most fun character in the story wasn't almost in the film, but yeah, it was. I will keep it. It's something that I will probably watch again one day. Next one up is something really weird. So this is The Child, and this is actually the second remake of The Child. So this is from the 70s, but there was also a remake in the 50s. I think I don't know what kind of movie that was. I just found it online when this one got announced, because I didn't understand anything. I hadn't heard about any of the 3 films. But now I've seen the first one. I bought that through Norwegian Filmklassikere from the 30s. I think it was 38. Yeah, and I've seen this one as well, the 70. And this one is a musical of everything, right? It's everything is against, like, it's Norwegian, it's a musical, yeah, and a feminist movie on top of that. But I kind of enjoyed it in a way, because it has 2 really funky songs, and it felt different. But it's the 70s, so they dare to do any kind of crazy shit during that time period. So yeah, but now I finally know about the book from Oscar Broughton, because I've seen 2 films based on that. Yeah. Next one up is actually a movie, my first release through my company. So this is Kiel Productions Filmfestival. So this is actually the release of Ondskapens Land. That is Inside the Slip. Yeah, so on this release you get the feature, Evil Land, that I did in 2004, I think it was. You get a short film called My Mummy. You get 8 or 12 minutes of my first feature that I made when I was 11, 12 years old, called Ruben. You get a documentary from Disneyland Paris. You get a movie I made when I was 25, I believe, Porn Without Porn. And you get a bonus feature on this one as well, called Fuck Norge, Fuck Norway. So, and then you have tons of bonus extras on it as well, with a retrospect and commentary track and different shit. So yeah, I'm happy to finally have the release. And the people who gave money to it have the movie is on the way in the mail right now. Next one up is a Vinegar Syndrome release with Wingshauser called The Carpenter. So I have no relationship with Hauser, because I heard about him for years, and I've seen some movies with him, of course. Movies like Rubber, Tough Guys Don't Dance, Get Even, and The Wind, Original Gangsters, and so on. But I don't have any relationship with his movies where he is alone or the lead in the films. So I went into this just thinking I was going to watch a B movie from 80s, 90s, and nothing more. But that's exactly what it is. And it's super fun. This is a crazy ass fucking film that I really adore. It's super duper fun. And I don't know if it's because of him, but it's partly because of him. Because everything goes in a drama set, kind of, the setting is drama, but suddenly there is splatter elements to it, and fucking he used like a saw to saw through the hands, and yeah, it's crazy, and everything just feels like a normal slow drama. But I highly recommend this one if you're into B movies and stuff. It's absolutely a movie I recommend. Her Vengeance. So this is a movie, or actually it's 2 movies here. It's Devil's Fetus also. Okay, so Her Vengeance is a movie I've been eyeing for a long time. It's part of the Cat 3 films and everything, and that's one of the top films I've had, like I wanted to watch on my list. And when Vinegar Syndrome announced it, I was super happy. It's directed by Lem Mai Tjo, and it's the same director who gave me The Cat. And The Cat is probably on my top 2 or 3 Hong Kong extreme films ever. It's not that extreme actually, but it's just crazy from, yeah. It's really, really good. But he also made Rico, that I think is a fun one, and erotic ghost stories or horror. I can't remember. But it's 2 films actually. I can't remember which of them. I think it's ghost horror. But anyway, but he is a master with this kind of film, so I'm really looking forward to check it out. Devil Fetus, I know nothing about, but I know it's a Cat Tree though. But yeah, I'm looking forward to check out both of these. The Cat Tree films have actually been many of the best films Vinegar Syndrome has ever released, as far as I know, that I've seen at least. Huckle. So this is a movie I picked up right away when I saw the director. Georgi Palfi, I think you say his name. It was the only thing I needed to know. Yeah. I really liked this movie, Taxidermia. It's not a great film, but the thing is that he's daring to do something new with it. So I had to try this as well. It was not something to think about. I'm looking forward to check it out. It could be whatever. The only thing I know about this one was the little I could read about it, and it says it's like a crime drama, but it doesn't say much, right? And he's a crazy ass director, so you never know what you get. And Hungary films are normally different in a good way. Next one up is Cannibal Girls. So this one I just actually went straight past it because it looked boring and everything, but and I'm not super into random cannibal or zombie films or whatever. But then I saw that it was the director was Ivan Reitman, and this is a movie that I never heard about before. Strangely enough, I thought I've seen most of his stuff, but yeah. But yes, I really looking forward to check this one out. I saw that he made Meatballs like 6-7 years after this one, so this must be really early in his career before he was somebody. But he has done tons of good stuff that I really love. I know many people don't like his films, but I really like Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I like both of them. Also love Twins and Kindergarten Cop with Schwarzenegger. Stripes is a good one. But I do think he fell in a shitty rabbit hole after making those films and actually only made movies I don't care about. I do think Dave, if I remember rightly, I think it was Dave, was decent, but I haven't seen it since it was released back in the days. Plus, this is a Canadian film, so it could be amazing for all I know. Next one up is Sweet Dreams. So this one I bought purely because it's produced in Sweden and I collect Scandinavian films. But it's a new female director trope that we have tons of nowadays that I'm so fucking tired of. So I don't have high hopes for this one. And it's, yeah, and I do believe it. I think I saw the trailer and it felt like a drama about a woman's feelings and all that shit. So melancholic something. I have no idea. But it's Swedish, so I had to have it. Okay, next one up is a movie I never thought I was ever going to buy, but I did. Bruce LaBruce. Everybody knows Bruce LaBruce. So The Visitor is probably the movie I read most about from him after LA Zombies. I have heard that this is the movie that has pushed, I think it was at Cannes or something. It was one big festival that took it in that got a lot of shit for showing it. It's of course gay and it's a lot of nudity with men and everything like in most of his films. But the thing with Bruce LaBruce is that I do think he has an eye for recreating shit and I don't know, I want to test this one out. I've seen 2 of his films before and I struggled with one of them. The other one was more disgusting because of other stuff, but yeah, I think actually LA Zombies is pretty good if you wanted to recreate the SOV style of movie making. Next one up is Mother Couch. So this one I also picked up purely because it's a Swedish-Danish co-production, and yeah, You have Ewan McGregor in it, Rhys Ifans, and Taylor Russell, Lara Flynn Boyle, a lot of big names. But damn, this movie was bad. I don't understand what they were trying to do here. The director of this one is a first-time director. Tons of money in this film. It looks good. Everything looks professional. Acting is good. Everything. But damn, the story is boring. And the payoff in the ending is kind of... I would rather get a shotgun to my head, because it's fucking insane that somebody thought that it was a smart idea to make that shit. Next one up is Uppercase Print. So this one was another one that I picked up right away when I saw the director, Rado Jude. I saw his film Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn. And I also saw that movie, I Do Not Care If We Go Down in History as Barbarians. And I loved both of those films. I recommend everybody to check out Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn, because that's a movie that really fucks up your head while you're watching it. But don't turn it off. Even though you want to turn it off at a point, don't do it. Because there is more to the story. You're thinking you're in a loophole of hell when you're watching it. Yeah, I want to check this out because I have no idea what it is, and yeah, I just want to experience this. Go into it blind. So I'm looking forward to check it out. And here's the other side of the cover. Next one up is forgot this one in the stack. Her Body. So this was a movie that I love movies that is about porn in a way, but the problem nowadays, the last years, we have gotten so many movies like this made by female directors, and they don't know shit when it comes to how to show porn. Because like if you take Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights and you look how he shows the porn industry, it's kind of disgusting, but at the same way you understand the people in the industry. While when I was watching the Swedish film Pleasure, I just wanted to rip my fucking head off watching that film, because it was not something I ever wanted to be in, like to be involved in at all, and I didn't want to talk to any of the people in the film, like, and the girl, she was a narcissist, so you didn't care about her at all. It was like a crazy, and I felt like this movie had the same problem, except one thing, and that's what saved this film for me a little bit, and that's the lead girl in this film, because she does a really good job here, I think. She's playing a famous athlete called Andrea Absolonova, I think her name was, and she was a diver. I think that's the Olympic diver, and she was, for the first time, she was going to be part of the Olympic Games. During the exercise, she I think she kind of fractured her neck or something like that, so she could never participate in any kind of things anymore. So, and then she turned into porn, and this is a real life story. But the problem with this film is that you never understand why she goes into porn. And if they never understood why she did it for real either, they should just have made up something. Because I need to understand why the character is doing what she is doing, or else I don't care. But she did an amazing job in acting in this one. I really dig the actress, and so all of that was good. Next one up is Deaf Crocodiles, The Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians. So I have a lot of Deaf Crocodiles titles here because I've seen all of these films like the last weeks, and I've seen many of them a bunch of times. But most of these I got last year or this year. So, but this is a Czechoslovakian 80s movie. Oldrich Lipsky has directed this one. He also did Adela Is Not at Supper Yet, but he also did that movie Happy End that I talked about so many times, and that I will probably talk about later as well. I did not really like the story of this film. It's kind of a predecessor to Bram Stoker's Dracula. The book came out just 20 years before, maybe something like that. But yeah, you can really feel the Dracula story in this. So it feels like almost like Bram Stoker's just copied the book. The effects and props are amazing in this film. And you can really see that Jan Swankemeyer has been involved in everything here because his creation is marvelous. And it's not a bad movie at all. I think I gave it 6 or 7 out of 10. 6 out of 10, I believe. But it wasn't as good as I was hoping for. It kind of lacked something with the story, in my opinion. Kinzaza, this is a Soviet sci-fi satire from the 80s, I believe it was. Yeah, it must be the 80s. It's a movie that doesn't follow the Hollywood narrative, so that's one big plus for this. And people who want to experience something different should check this one out. And it feels like a movie in between, you know, a lost time period, or maybe made by an alien in a different planet or something. But it has a lot of humor, a lot of charm, a super funny character, and the scenery and some scenes is so damn amazing. I think I actually gave this 8 out of 10. I've seen it 2 times now, I believe, maybe even 3 times, I don't know. But I saw it the second time just 2 weeks ago or something, and it's actually better as many times you see it, because you start to notice stuff that you didn't see the first time. Next one up is actually one of my favorite films that has been made after 2020. It's World War III. This is an Iranian drama, as the movie, as the cover says, but I would call it more of a dark comedy with satire again. That's why I love movies from these kind of countries you don't see many films from. They really work with satire a lot. Yeah, I think the acting in this one is amazing. The setup is so damn good. But I don't want to spoil it. Go into this blind, and I promise you will be with the film from beginning till the end. It's a movie I recommend to everyone to check out. And how many movies have you seen from Iran? It's time. Check it out. Next one up is Bubble Bath. Yeah, this is another movie from Hungary. 70s soft erotic animation, I would call this, with an incredible astonished style to it. It's really, really weird, and it just gets weirder towards, further in you get in the story. I was thinking the director should have gone to, like, what you call them, like a couple therapy group while I was watching this, because but instead of making this film, because you feel like you want to go to a fucking therapy after you have seen this, or while you are seeing it. Next one up is The Tune. This is Bill Plimpton's work. So this is my 3rd film I've seen from him, feature, I believe. He has some really astonishing kind of style to his way. You always reckon when it's a Plimpton film. At least I've done it so far. They are similar but still creative as hell. And it's like, it's not that I think they are that fun to actually, but they're so creative of telling everything. It's almost like he's a mastermind of creating reality in weird ways. And there's a super cool short film on this one as well. Guard Dog, I think it's called. And it's really cute and really fun. Just a simple story about a dog, I don't know, having a normal trip, taking a shit. How the dog experienced the world. Super fun. Next one up is Time of Roses. So it's actually the other way around, I think, the cover, but I always get fucked up in my head when her had this on the other way. I don't know. But this is another satire sci-fi production from, I think this is 69, if I'm not mistaken. And it's from Finland. It's in black and white. It's everything you should say to sell a film, right? No, but the thing is that I used a long time before I saw this film. This was the last film I saw from Deaf Crocodile that I had in the collection. And I probably had it for a year. But I love this film. it almost feels a little bit like Paul Verhoeven, only done through a charismatic kind of way, like the Finland way of telling stories, bleak and kind of, I don't know, pulled back, less is more. But yeah, I love this film. It's so damn cool, and the props used in this, and it's an amazing film. And I know I will go. I actually want to show this to some friends at a B movie night one day, because it's a special film. It's a sci-fi from Finland, for God's sake, and it's from the 60s. I don't think many Finnish people knew about they were making sci-fi back then. The Pied Piper. So this was an amazing ride. The story of this one is kind of pretty much similar to the rat catcher story everybody has read, heard, or whatever, the Pied Piper. But there is a twist to it. But I would never sell this film for the story. The story is kind of 5% of the film. This is kind of an experience like no other. It feels like something Tim Burton only wish he could do. It's the stop motion creativity of making this with miniatures and everything. It's insane, and I just wish they had more features on the disc on how they did it, but they explain it also on the bonus feature, hey, why it isn't. But you get some. I think you get 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I saw the entire thing, and it was really, really good to learn a little bit. But this is a movie. I wouldn't put it higher if I'm going to compare with A Nightmare on Elm Street. No, not from A Nightmare Before Christmas or anything like that. But visual, this movie is up there with the best I've ever seen. It's incredible. And I wish people actually made more movies like this. It just tells me that there is a universe out there in Magic Land, in Movie Land, that we haven't experienced. We haven't even started to experience yet or explore yet. But yeah, so I've seen this movie 3 times now. I saw it last time. I saw it with a friend, and I had a better time talking through the film with my friend, like talking about the film and everything. So I think this is a movie I will show to everybody. I'm just, this is the reason why I work with films. This is pure magic, and I love this. Next one up is Visitors from Arkan Galaxy. I think it's only called Visitors from the Galaxy in Norway. So this is a really fun little strange sci-fi film. It's also a relationship drama, actually, when I think about it. Kind of the supreme race, but they are not that supreme either when you get to know them. And there are so many cool effects in this one. I actually thought first that Swankemeyer was part of it, but I don't think he is. It's a Czechoslovakian film again, and if this was a random Vinegar Syndrome release, I would say that this must have been like a, I don't know, American B movie made by Takeshi Miike in America, right? It's crazy. The ending will blow your mind if you're a horror buff, because through the entire film, it feels like a mixture between B-movie sci-fi stuff you have seen 1,000 times before on the Sci-Fi Channel, right? But it turns into some sort of weird creature feature splatter thing in the ending. And the kids there are creepy and cute as hell. Next one up is Heroic Times. So this movie I only seen once, but I will go back to it. It's not a movie that I can put on that often because it's more of an experience again. But the whole movie is painted by hand-drawn, or how you say it, oil paintings. And it's marvelous, actually, to see this shit. And it's a testosterone film, like an underdog story, but with tons, with the music and images and everything, with masculinity going overdrive. It's a beautiful story. Beautiful story is probably wrong to say, but it's a beautiful, crafted film. And And I don't know. I was thinking while watching this that it could be that Aleksandr Petrov's what's it called again? The Old Man and the Sea. That he got inspiration for all of his film, Mermaids, and all of his films from this. Because I wonder if he came after this movie with the oil painting. And but I don't know this for sure. I was just thinking that Petrovs is the dude who made the first animation for IMAX cinema. You should check it out. That's a beautiful art piece also. Delta Space Mission. So this is an 80s Romanian animation. It feels for me when I watched it a little bit like Brave Star, if people remember Brave Star, but with the kind of humor at times, like Cow and Chicken or whatever. I don't know. It's really weird. But the humor didn't really capture me, and the story was not my kind of thing. But what I did love about it is the animation. This is the animation I like the most. Kind of a little bit more simple animation, but with structure to it in a way. I don't know how to explain it. It's a movie, I don't know how many times I will see it, but I already seen it 2 times, and I still don't really remember the story of the film. But I have the same problem with the next one coming up here. It's not that I think they are bad films, but it's just, I don't know, the story don't capture me in the way I was hoping. So The Son of the Stars, this was the one that came after from the same directors. Yeah, I love the look. The characters looks amazing. I don't know if I said that, but I do like the characters. But it's just the story and the humor that didn't capture me that well. But I do think it will go home for many people. Like, you can't love everything, right? The next one up is Prague Nights. Yeah, so this is Jiri Brodeka's film. I think he directed this one with 1 or 2 other directors, if I remember rightly. It's a 60s Czechoslovakian film. I had seen one of the animation Brodeka had done before, but I can't remember now the name for it. But I did look up some of his animations, and I do think you get 1 or 2 films on this release. But he's a really good animator. He's done one that I think that is part of this release, if I'm not mistaken, called Metamorphose. That is a really weird one. I think it's about a person going into the military, if I'm not mistaken, like in a marsh, if I remember rightly. Just a short little one. But I did enjoy it. But this is a really special film. I do think if this movie was made in the UK, Germany, USA, or wherever, China, or whatever big countries during the time period with movies, I think it would be counted as one of the great, great horror films from the 60s. Because it is amazing. It feels almost like Ptushko or Harryhausen and Brian De Palma came together and made something. I don't know. It's also have it's an anthology film, but the anthology part of the film of the story. Because I'm not the biggest fan of anthology films to begin with. That's one of my weaknesses. But in this one, it's put together in a way so I never seen it done like that before. I don't want to spoil it either. That's the thing. But yeah, it's amazing. And like most of the films I will talk about from Death Crocodile, if they are horror, they don't feel like horror films. They feel like horror films, but they feel like different horror films. I would compare them a little bit with like The Wicker Man, right? Because if you didn't know it's a horror film, I don't even think you would think that Wicker Man is a horror film. But it is a horror film, right? And it's in the same way with Prague Nights or some other I will talk about later. They have something in them that is different, that I really like. And I do think it's kind of the Hollywood narrative that we are used to, that makes them feel different. But this is a masterpiece, in my opinion, just to be clear. I love it. Talking about a masterpiece, Zero Grad. So I've been talking about this film on my channel forever now, I feel. But it is a movie that deserves to be talked about a lot. So this is a Soviet film. Feels like almost like a David Lynch film before Lynch was really a thing. I look at Lynch like he made some special films in the 80s, right? But it's during the 90s, Lynch became what we all know Lynch is. And this one came out late 80s, if I'm not mistaken. And this feels like a film Lynch could have made in the 90s. But it also feels a little bit like Cronenberg when it comes to the style. I don't know, it's hard actually. So this is the third film I've seen from Shakhnazarov. What's his name? Shakhnazarov, I think his name. Or Shakhnazarov is his name, yeah. And I do think he's a great director. This is his absolute best work so far. He has 2 films I really want to get my hands on, that I really want to see. But of his 3 films I've seen, I like this one the best. And the best scene, or the best scenes in the film, is the secretary scene, without a doubt. Everybody knows it if you have seen the film, without a doubt. Next one up is a Danish film called Benny's Bathtub. So this was one of the early Deaf Crocodile films I bought, but I don't think I ever shown it on one of these update videos I've done. And this is maybe my second favorite animation from Scandinavia ever. I love it. I saw it for the first time when I was around 9-10 years old at school. And it kind of shocked me when I saw it again that we actually got to see this in school. Feels like you are using drugs while watching this. But it's really beautiful and it's so funky. It's a movie I would recommend everybody to experience. It's a weird drug trip of a film. And I highly recommend it. And from my neighbor country, Denmark. So next one up is another movie from Shakhnazarov. It's a hard name to say. The Assassin of the Tsar. So this is Shakhnazarov and Malcolm McDowell together. And I was really looking forward to see this. Happy I own it. I didn't love it, but I did like it. It's a hard movie actually to gasp over, if that makes sense. It's a movie that tells a story that doesn't really follow time, I feel, and you don't really know what's in his head and what's real. The ending is pretty hard. Actually, it was pretty hard to see it the first time because I didn't see that ending coming. And it's also shot in a way that is really cold. Great acting. And there's a really good interview on this one with McDowell and Dennis from Deaf Crocodile, one of the owners, that I think it's an hour long or something, that I really enjoyed. And I love that they put long interviews and long conversation on their desks. Not many companies do that. I think they are afraid since it doesn't look really expensive or whatever, right? But I love interviews like that. I love 10 times more than putting those fucking actors or whatever on a chair and you film them in a good light and everything, and you just have a 5-10 minutes interview. It's much more interesting when you can sit and talk with them for an hour or something. And he tells a lot of funny stories from filming in Russia. But I highly recommend people to check this out as well. It's a different kind of movie. Next one up is Solomon King. So this one was also one of the last I saw of the films from Deaf Crocodile. I'm a big fan of blaxploitation, especially the 70s. But to be honest, this one really didn't go home with me. I did enjoy it mostly because of the tropes of the fighting sequence or action sequence. There's not many, but the few there are kind of funny. But I think the movie lacks what I love the most with the blaxploitation era. The coolness. And I don't give a fuck kind of... how you say, like holding or image from the characters. It felt a little bit soft, to be honest. But it is a decent film, absolutely. I had fun with it, and I will see it again. But I just had higher hopes for it. I do think this is a lost treasure for many people out there. I read online that many people have been waiting for that one for years. It's been hard to find. Next one up is Cat City. So this one surprised the hell out of me because I never heard about this film before. And yeah, it's like the opening credits, if I remember rightly, or was it just on the back side? I can't remember, but it says like in the year 80 after Mickey Mouse on Planet X, we meet Agent Grabowski and Mr. Lazydick. No, it was actually the synopsis or something I read, but it's a super fun story. It's really serious at times, kind of violent also, but it's kind of a cat and mouse story. More of cat story, but there are some mouse in it as well. But it's a big fucking movie. I was surprised with this film. And on top of that, I read, or maybe it was on the bonus feature, I can't remember, that this is counted as one of the national treasures or national prides from Hungary. And I could clearly see that. But I'm just super happy I got to experience this big jam of a film. Next one up is a strange film, but it's so strange because this comes from Switzerland, and that's not a movie country for me. I'd hear a lot of things about, but this film is insane. I had no idea what I was going into, and it's really not my kind of movie to begin with. It's not French, but I call it French because they speak French, right? But it feels like a French film, and it's the 60s. Yeah, I many times have hard times with the 60s. It's black and white. It's kind of arty party, and at times it feels a little bit like the French New Wave. I've never been the biggest fan of the French New Wave. There are great films from there, from the time period, but everything told me that this was going to be boring. But man, this movie is fun. I recommend it to everybody out there. It's kind of a strange mix between some B-movie kind of story. Like, it almost feels like, I don't know, like Stuart Gordon could have written and made this, but like the story. But on the other hand, you have like this classical, beautiful cinematography in this one, and it has some of the best shots I've ever seen on a film ever. And it also have a James Bond vibe to it, and the arthouse stuff is kind of cool, to be honest. It's it's an insane great film. I love this film. And I can't wait to show this to some friends, movie buffs I know that haven't. I don't think people have heard about this film over here. I don't know. I never heard about it before, and I love it. So the next one I'm going to go fast through because I talked about them on my channel before, and I've given so much love to these films before. But I will just talk about them fast. Ilya Muromets, the first of the fantasy films from Ptushko. Next one up is Sampo. Second, this is a Finnish, Russian or Soviet production. And the next one is The Tale of Tsar Sultan. Also a fantasy journey. And the big last one is Ruslan and Ludmilla. Also Ptushko, all of these. So what I will say really quick today about these films, so I don't go in depth because I can talk about them forever. This is Russian fantasy films that are now, after I've seen all four of them, I put them together just like Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 or Lord of the Rings 1, 2, 3. But you can see them separately, but I put them together. And next time I will watch them, now I watch them 3 times. Next time I will watch them, or Russian and Ludmilla I only watched 2 times. But other ones I watched 3 times. I watched them every time I got a new one in. I had to watch the other one again. But when I see these films, it makes me question, why the hell haven't we heard more about Ptushko? For me, I would actually, and I know people out there probably get a little bit, I don't know, a little bit angry at me when I say this, but the thing with Ptushko is that I put him higher than most of the directors out there. I would put him up there with Tarkovsky, Bergman, Hitchcock, Kubrick, and all of them. But Harryhausen, I think Ptushko was better, to be honest. Because what he did with a lot less money looks a lot bigger than what Harryhausen managed to do. And I love Harryhausen, don't get me wrong. And Mario Bava, with his style of creating lights in the fairy tale kind of style in his films, especially in the Hercules or more adventure fantasy kind of tales. Ptushko was before him, and he did bigger stuff, and these films looks more amazing in my opinion. And the way he built up like the towns on cardboards and everything is insane. I've seen people do that, but not in this giant scope. Yeah, I would say that watch these films and just, yeah, I feel super sad that he wasn't appreciated more. It has to be something with politics between countries. I can't see anything, because Russian films are not pushed as much as, let's say, German films or Norwegian films or whatever. It's super sad. I wish I saw all of these films when I was a kid. I would be in love with these movies. And remember, I live in a country next to Russia, and we don't even get this film pushed on us like we do with American films or UK films. Or yeah, it's sad. I really love this director. And I also seen 3 of his other films, and everything he did was close to amazing. But if I have to rate it or rank his films, of these 4 films, I would say that I will put, I know many people put this highest, Sampo, but I will put this actually the lowest. It's a really good film, but I just think it's a little bit slow at times. But on the second worst, but none of these are worst. It's The Tale of Tsar Sultan. I really dig this film, but the thing is with the last 2 films here, they are so damn good. Ilya Muromets, second best. This one blew me away when I saw it the first time. It was insane. And Ruslan and Lodimilla is insane amazing. I was shocked when I never thought he could top every movie almost he topped. It was, yeah, insane. Next one up is The Savage Hunt of King Stark. It's kind of strange. I haven't talked about Death Crocodile movies like on our separate video. I need to do that one day. And this is, again, if anybody want to try out a different kind of horror, this is also one of them you should really try out. I love this film. It's kind of a folk horror film, I would say. I'm not completely sure if it's counted as a folk horror, but I would call it that. It managed to keep this strange, somber, kind of evil tone throughout the film that I really loved. And it has a goth horror vibe to it. But I wouldn't call it a pure goth horror either. It's strange. It's in between everything. At least not a traditional goth horror. It's amazingly cast, this film. I don't know who she is, but she was Alina something. She was incredible in the film. And they are overacting at times, but I do think it's not overacting in this universe. That's the thing. I love the actors in it. The only thing I would say is that maybe the ending is a little bit too on the nose, but I could say the same with Wicker Man. And Wicker Man is close to a perfect film, right? So both of these films are kind of, and I mean too on the nose, I mean when you know the ending, they kind of dwell on that for a long time. But I do think it works in both of these, both Wicker Man and The Savage Hunt of King Sark, because it takes a time before you get there. But I do recommend this. If you want to watch a different kind of film, right? I'm so tired of the Hollywood narrative tropes. I love when I see different styles. Next one up is actually a Vinegar Syndrome release again, a 4K release. They just released. I got this in a week ago, or not even a week, but it's Brimstone and Trackle. I think you say it like that. I never heard about this before, but it's a UK 80s movie with Sting, and I also saw that Susanna Hamilton is in it. I love her. I think she's great. Richard Lundgren has done this film, and I know him from The Haunting of Julia because I never seen that film, and I always wanted to see it. But he also did Wimbledon that I remember some girls in my class loved. Yeah, I know nothing about this except it's a mystery horror, I think, or thriller. But I'm looking forward to check it out. And I don't think Vias has released any UK film I can remember that I didn't like. There has been movies from UK I didn't like a lot, but none of them I think has been bad. But I could be mistaken. I don't have the best brain. Hookers on a Davy, I think you say it. This is a strange one. I bought it just because it's Canadian International Pictures. And it's a 4K release of a documentary. But it was cheaper. I was still a subscriber when this was released, I believe. Or maybe I paid it through my friend's subscription. I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to check out how the Hookers was in Canada in the 80s, maybe. Always fun to visit some hookers in the 80s. Okay, so next one up is a movie I already had. The Story of a Closeted Nun. It's part of the Italian collection. And the only reason I bought this is because it's part of the Italian collection. I have all of them. But yeah, I've seen this before because I have it through Severin Films release, the box set of the nuns. It's the best in the box set, in my opinion. It has a lot of beautiful females in it, of course, as almost all of these nun films have. And the director of this one is the same director who did The Nun and the Devil, Stunt Squad, and I think he did some of the Hercules films as well. Maybe the sequel, I can't remember. But watch this for the girls and nothing more. It's not a great film at all. It works for what it is. Next one up is a television release that I was super happy they did. Dante's Inferno. So this is my favorite film I've seen so far from before 1920s. So this one is from 1911, if I remember right. It's extremely well made for the time period it's from. It's actually so well made that it almost feels fake. It feels a little bit like something A24 could have done today and called it a 1911 film, right? There's 4 different versions on this release. I only seen 2 of them. I seen the tinted red Inferno version, I think it's called. And I also seen the alternative cut. But I need to go through all of them. I will find myself going back to this film because I'm watching this film feels like almost visiting Dante's Inferno. Because it's so old, it's so weird. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about how old it is. Trouble Every Day. So this is a 2001 Beatrice Dalle, Vincent Gallo, in a French feature from Claire Denis, or Denise. I don't know how to say her name. This is a bloody, sexy, and ugly kind of mess of a movie that I really adore. The opening of this is killer. Watch this if you want to have some serious fun. Next one up is also a French film, Commando Ninja. And this is normally not a movie I like that much because it's a retrospect film in many ways. Of the 80s action, of course. You have Predator, Commando, Rambo, all of these in this. But I actually enjoy this a bit because it's so fucking crazy. And the opening and everything that is super 80s retrospect is super cool. It feels 80s. So yeah, I highly recommend this just to check it out. Maybe you like it, maybe you hate it, but this spoof film actually worked for me in many ways. And it feels a little bit Grindhouse, real Grindhouse as well. Next one up is Rad. So I wanted to see this for a long time, finally got it through one of their sales when they suddenly find some copies. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I never thought actually I was going to like it that much, I just wanted to see it. But you also have beautiful Laurie Loughlin, I think her name is, in this. Always loved her. This was during her prime time. She also did that... Fuck, what's the name of that? I have it from 101 Films. It's a really good one. Her and her brother is kicking ass. And you also actually have a Rocky's girlfriend in this one. Talia something? I can't remember her name. The director from Smokey and the Bandits, Cannibal Run, and... What's that film I really... Megaforce, yeah. Oh, and The Villains, Cactus Jack. Green jelly, so I got this. The only reason I picked this up, it cost $6 during a sale, and I heard a lot on green jelly when I was a kid. It was little pig, let me in. Not for the baby. Yeah, I heard a lot on their songs. I actually had their CD. But I know nothing about this. There was a documentary that was released through VHS, but this is a lot newer, so it can't be the same. But I will be watching it. Probably brings back some memories. My dog actually woke up when I sang with my beautiful singing voice there. The coffee table. So I didn't pick this up early enough so I could get a slipcover. But yeah, I still have it in the collection. So this is one of the few films that actually surprised me for the last 5-10 years. It's a really good drama with horror elements to it, and it really gave me a gut punch without even, I don't know, it's a freaky movie. Spain delivers, that's what I have to say. It's one of the best horror films, if you like, that has been released the last years, in my opinion. Herencia Diabolica. So this was a back and forward if I was going to sale, but I actually enjoyed it because it's so stupid. Kind of a killer doll movie, or killer dwarf if you like. I would call it killer dwarf. Yeah, it's a 90s Mexican film. I will keep it. It's a fun one. Devil Stories. Devil Story, not stories. So man, this French extreme film, without being French extreme, but it's still French extreme, this movie is bonkers. So I had no idea what I was going to watch here. I only heard shit about it, but I fucking love this film. It's not a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 film, but it is a fun movie. It's so brutal. It's so damn brutal at times. And it just happens without... It's what I say. You have the Hollywood narrative, and then you have movies that try differently. And I don't know if this movie had bad directing or if it was on purpose, but it really hit some nerves at me. The horse scene is probably one of the heaviest scenes I've seen in my entire life on film. And I'm just thinking, if it wasn't a zombie creature who got fucked in the face there, it must... Oh, man. So Joy, this is one of the few porn films I have in the collection now. I sold everything that I didn't like. But this one I will be keeping. And the main reason for it is actually because the story in this film is interesting. It's about a woman that don't want to have sex with her boyfriend, and then she gets raped, and then she turns completely, I wouldn't say insane, but she turns. That's what I would say. And I do like that story arc. So if Vinegar Syndrome can start releasing these films where you can cut away the porn sequences, because they kind of kill the vibe, but I will be keeping this one because it's an interesting tale in my opinion. So I can't recommend movies like that because it is porn films, right? Chinese Torture Chamber Story Volume 1 and 2. So I don't need to talk about the second one. The second one is good as well, but the first one is freaking amazing. It's one of the most crazy films I've ever seen in my entire life. You have Crouching Tiger, hidden boobies all over the place here. And I'm talking about great special effects here. They are flying around and fucking and doing all kind of crazy stuff. And you've probably seen GIF files like being spread around on internet off the scene, but don't really know where it's from. But they are going completely nuts in this film, and I love every second of it. And you also have some brutal scenes in it as well. But I think the main reason why I really felt for the story was because the lead girl in this one, I think she's one of the most known Taiwanese models or something like that. I've seen her in multiple things, but she has an expression that you care about even if you don't want to care about it. It's kind of, you feel sorry for her through every second of the story. But yeah, I love this film. It was such a big surprise for me. I will keep this till the day I die. No one can take it from me. Okay, so now it's Kinsky's Paganini. This is a movie I will probably not go back to that many times, but I need to have it in my collection just because what it is. This movie should be a study for psychiatrists all over the world, how psychopaths think and create art, maybe, I don't know. Kinsky goes completely Kinsky in this film, and both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And I don't even think he is kind of, not that I ever seen him normal, but yeah, it's almost like a vampire playing Kinsky in this film. And there is so many beautiful females. It's almost like they put together 50% of the most beautiful women in the world in this film. You have Deborah Caprigolio from Tinto Brass Paprika, and she's also in The Mask of Satan that I just got from Severin. And Dalila Di Lazzaro, I think her name is, she's also amazingly beautiful. She has a small part in Phenomena, and Flesh for Frankenstein she has a bigger role in. She's also in a really tiny little role in Night Train Murders. And you also have Eva Grimaldi in this one. That was in a movie I saw just a half year ago for the first time, Ratman. But she was also in Obsession, and she's also in The Mask of Satan. Yeah, so many beautiful women in this film, and I can't stop talking about them. And I haven't even mentioned all of them. Redneck Zombies. So this is a Troma production. I have not seen this since I was a kid on VHS. I remember I didn't like it that much, but I will be keeping it just because of nostalgia, and it's a Troma classic, I would call it. Next one is also a Troma film, is Rabid Grannies. So this one I haven't seen, but I've seen parts of it. Seen the dinner scene, seen the ripping off the arm scene. Looks fun, and we'll be keeping it. Troma, really cool cover. We'll be keeping it because it's a Troma classic, as I call those. Lady Reporter, Cynthia Rothrock again. I know many people think this is one of her least favorite films. I really dig this film as well. I actually have 2 copies of it, one Vinegar Syndrome and one Eureka. Cool fighting in this one, and yeah, badass dialogue in all of her films. Sometimes stupid dialogue, but that's okay. But yeah, I will be keeping all of her films. I have so much fun watching Cynthia Rothrock in action. Talking about her, here's a double feature of Chine O'Brien. So I love both of these films. I think both of them are great. I would actually put the first one up there with one of her best. You just don't, you can't take the film seriously. That's the thing. You need to look at them as just pure fun. And I don't know why I like her so much, but she is, I don't know, she's really fun in films. I don't know. So Witch Story was a movie I thought I had seen, but I actually haven't. But there's so many movies called Witch something, Witchcraft, Witch Story, whatever. Plus this is Italian, so I've seen tons of goth horror, witch horror, whatever from Italy. But I actually haven't seen this one. But I will keep it no matter if I hate it, because it's Italian. Yeah, this is an 80s movie as well, and 80s is a soft spot for me from Italy, because they went truly batshit crazy during that time period. Next one up is a Scream Factory, or Shout Factory maybe, a movie that I really loved as a kid, probably shit today, but I knew I had to have it because it's one of probably top 10 or something kid films, or not that it is the best movie from when I was a kid, but one of them I remember the most from the VHS days. Yeah, so I will be keeping this no matter how bad it is. Crush, or The Crush maybe. I remember liking this a bit. I think it's a sexual thriller, maybe made for TV if I'm not mistaken. But I have totally forgot about it before I saw Shout Factory, or who was it releasing it. I think I remember Alicia Silverstone was kind of crazy in this film, and but still was kind of like a Lolita story or something, but she was crazy, but she was the crazy one. But I could be wrong. But I do remember I liked this a lot. And the strange thing was that when I had it back in the days on VHS, I actually got it in a double feature with Flipper of everything. But I found out now that it's the same director, so Idle Hands, one of the few horror comedies after the mid-90s I actually think is good. I saw this at a friend's place some months ago. First time I actually see it for 15 years or something, and it was a lot of fun. And I completely understand why I liked Jessica Alba so much as a kid. All the colors of Giallo. So I still haven't seen this documentary, but I only heard bad things about it from friends. I heard it's not really telling that much new, or not telling anything new, but not really telling anything at all. It's more of a overview or something like that. But I'm looking forward to check it out. I want to see if there are Giallos that I'm more interested in seeing that I haven't heard about, maybe. Let's see. Next one up is Bo Widerberg's new Swedish cinema from Criterion. The only film I've seen from him is All Things Fair. And that's one of the best Scandinavian films ever, in my opinion. I love that film. I only have it on DVD, actually, so I wish somebody could release it. This is only 60s films from him. The movie I think sounds most interesting in this box set is Adalen 31. It's a film about the Swedish police starting to shoot on civilians during a demonstration back in the 30s. But you also get in this one Elvira Madigan, The Baby Courage, and Raven's Ends. So I'm looking forward to dig into this as well. It's not enough time. Next one up is Band of Outsiders. So this is Jean-Luc Godard's famous dance movie, or at least dance movie for the people who haven't seen the real film. But the dance sequence in the film is amazing, though. But this movie really opened my eyes the first time I saw it for Anna Karina. The movie is really about a bank robbery, but it's an experience again, I think, more than what the traditional heist movies are, at least. It's not a heist movie. Yeah, I do love this film. It's really, really good. Highly recommend it to everybody. It's a good way to go into the French New Wave if you have seen one film and you didn't like it, maybe test out that one, because it's an easier movie to watch, I think, than many of the others. Beauty and the Beast. So this is a second run release. This is the best adaptation of the story, I think, ever. I think it's even better than the Disney one, like in quality all over. I just love this film. It's a perfect masterpiece. I think I gave it 10 out of 10 last time I saw it. And this one I saw in November or December. It's insane great. And it's, yeah, Czechoslovakian film again. And if you haven't seen this one, you haven't seen enough. You have to see it. So here is Happy End. Already talked about it. Not released from second run. Super happy they released this film because I always wanted it on physical. Saw it as a kid at my grandmother's place in Vardø, but always remembered this story. It's inspired Chris Nolan. It's inspired Argento, I believe, at least. It inspired Gaspar Noé. It has inspired so many people. This is one of the biggest masterpieces ever made, in my opinion, for film, because it took something and put it completely on the head, like a pure experimental film should do, but it's still also counted as a normal film. Next one up is Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. So this is a slasher I can enjoy. I didn't even know it was a slasher, to be honest, because it feels more like a thriller with horror elements to it, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think the story in this one is good. I already have a Blu-ray of it, and I didn't know that. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find it. But anyway, I have most of the slasher collection films, so I'm happy to own this as well. It's actually directed by the same dude who did Scissors with Sharon Stone, a movie I'm the only one in the world who actually like. Sexual thriller from early 90s, actually before Basic Instincts, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, highly recommend Dark Knight of the Scarecrows. Next one up is Yumeno Kusakus, I think, Girl Hell. It's made by one of the greatest directors into the Pinku films. I've seen 3 of his films before, never seen this one. But I knew I had to pick this one up because I liked the 3 films I've seen so far. And actually, of all the Pinky films I've seen, probably like 10 of them, if I'm putting my finger up in the air. But most of them gets a little bit too nasty. But he kind of makes interesting stories with sleaze. So I'm looking forward to check out this film. It's from the 70s, and yeah. And thinking about how far they went in the 70s with movies, man, us in the West have been holding back. But maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Assault Jack the Ripper. This is another 70s film in the Pinku genre. The film sounds super bonker and crazy as hell. I'm so looking forward to check this one out. I need to be alone at home to see it. This is also a crazy great director. He did one of the female prison scorpion films. Massacre Gun, I have that from Arrow Video, and Rape. 3 films I like. And he's also the first director I ever saw a Pinko film from. Yeah, but this movie sounds crazy as hell. So I'm looking forward to check it out. Now I'm over to actually a release, some films that were released now that is also actually older release, Pops told me. But they are re-releasing them, and I'm super happy for it because these films I've been looking for in cool editions. King Kong, yeah, I don't need to talk about this one. It talks for itself. One of my favorite American films of all time. On my top 3 of best monster creature features. Still one of the best movies ever with special effects. Extravaganza show. And just thinking about it, it came out in in 33 is insane. And you also get the, what's it called, the Lost Spider Pit sequence in this one. So I'm really looking forward to check that one up in better quality than the YouTube version I've seen. Next one up is The Hunger. I never seen this film actually, but I've heard about it before. It's a vampire film from the 80s from Tony Scott actually. I always liked Tony Scott, but he is kind of 50-50 to me. I've never been a big fan of airplane films or car films or anything like that, so they're a little bit flat to me. So Top Gun, Days of Thunder is kind of not really my thing. But of course, I love True Romance. Man on Fire was great. Crimson Tide is amazing. Or not amazing, but really good. The Last Boy Scout, fucking love that film. Beverly Hills Cop 2 is fun. Revenge is sexy. The Fan is okay, I think. But that's what it is. Yeah, and Dominio is bad. And Deja Vu, I hate that film. Yeah, so he's made some bad films as well, but he has many good ones. And you also get Katrina Deneuve in this one. I always liked her. Susan Sarandon, David Bowie is in it. It's just strange that I never seen it. Now I can. Next one up is Dr. Zhivago. So this one I haven't seen since I was probably a kid. I don't know. It's been VHS days, I believe. It's an Italian-American movie about a Russian, so it's really funky. It's not something you hear every day. But I do think this must be one of the biggest classic movies from the time period it came out. I saw it back in the VHS days multiple times. My father really liked this one. It's also directed by the amazing David Lean. Lawrence of Arabia is one of my favorite, so Bridge of River Kwai is great. I didn't have this film at all, actually. I didn't have it on DVD either, so I was super happy to pick it up now. Yeah, Umar Sharif is in the film. Julia Christie, beautiful Julia Christie is in this one. And you also had the daughter of Charlie Chaplin in this one. I can't remember her name, and Klaus Kinsky shows up as well. It's a movie that I'm super happy to own, and I needed it in the collection. This was a movie I picked up as a blind buy. I asked Pops about this one because you have Gary Busey in it. Surf movie with Gary Busey. But listen to this. You have Gary Busey in the film, you have Robert Englund, and Joe Spinell. I'm not saying they have big parts, but I'm just saying all of them are in the same film. This must be a cult film masterpiece. I don't know. But yeah. It's from the same director who did Red Dawn, Conan the Barbarian, Dillinger. And I do think this is a big movie. I just never heard about it. I don't think I've heard about it at least. And it's the producer from Total Recall, First Blood 1 and 2, and Rambo 3, of course, Conan, Hardcore, Red Dawn, 1941, Coffee, Foxy Brown, did Blaxploitation as well. It's an insanely great cast and crew in this one. It's strange that it's not talked about more. I don't know. I never heard about it as far as I know. Next one in the same series is Greystock, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. This one I saw a bunch of times when I was a kid. Absolutely not a great film at all. But I have a lot of nostalgia for it. And I don't own it in the collection. So I found out these are pretty cheap. I think they cost like, it's limited editions with bonus features, DVD, Blu-ray, everything included. Like, so super happy to own this as well in this perfectly edition. But I really like what most people hate about the film. I really enjoy. I like the opening of this film a lot. I know people think it's silly, but I kind of like the Mowgli story of the film. And it's also the first lead role, as far as I know, from Christopher Lambert. So that's fun. But yeah, I need to watch it again. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. Next one up is a movie I haven't seen, but I heard about it before. Looker. It's an 80s sci-fi movie. It's from the director who did Coma. I just watched Coma for the first time. It was Michael Douglas. It was a pretty good film. Runaway is a good one. The First Great Robbery is good. Westworld is good. So it's a good director. But yeah, I don't know much about it. It's yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting. It's an interesting premise. I also read that the director is more known for his writing because he did Jurassic Park and Jurassic World films, and he also did Congo of everything and The 13th Warrior. That is a shitty script though, but yeah, he's probably living off the money he gets from scripts. Death Trap, never seen this one, but it sounds really good. It's a movie you get both Michael Caine, one of the best, Christoph Reeves, love him in film. And this is a kind of a movie, if I understood it right, like whodunit type of story. Sidney Lumet has directed it, 12 Angry Men, Dog Day Afternoon, and all of those. He's a great director, except with The Wiz. The Wiz is a fun one, but I was shocked when I saw he was involved in that one. But I've not seen this film, but it sounds fun. And yeah. It's strange also because it was released in a time period where I should have seen it. Not that I was born that year, but I'm just thinking movies from that time period I normally saw. Venom, movie that came out the year before I was born, from Blue Underground. I have all of the Blue Underground releases as well. I always forget that. So this is a UK production, UK horror film with Klaus Kinsky, Oliver Reed, Susan George, man, she's beautiful. And a bunch of other incredible hot females. I don't want to mention all of the names because I don't want to think those kind of thoughts now. I've seen this film, but it's been years since I saw it. I can't remember anything from it, to be honest. The only reason I remember I saw it is because of the name of the film. Because when I was a kid or teenager, probably, I thought this was Venom from Spider-Man. And I think I saw it on VHS. Maybe I bought it through Meloline. I should check when I go through my VHS collection if I still have it. But it's really fun because this is, again, the same DP I talked about many times before on my channel. Just listen to this, because I talked about this many times before. But this is a cinematographer who worked on Star Wars. He filmed Star Wars, he filmed The Omen, Doctor Strangelove, Flash Gordon, Frenzy, Macbeth, he filmed Dracula, Voyage of a Rock Alien, yeah, Gilbert, Elizabeth Taylor, Gilbert Taylor is his name, and he must be one of the luckiest DPs ever on this planet, because he worked with Kubrick, Lucas, Donner, Polanski, Hodge, Eastwood. It's insane. I never heard about anything like that before. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that again. And he worked on this one. So looking forward to check it out. And next one up is Poltergeist. And so this is one of the last Troma films I actually enjoyed. I haven't been that much a fan of Troma after the 95 maybe or something like that. But they did this one, and they also did Toxic Avenger 4 that I really liked. But this is a fun one, I think. Over to some 4Ks. The Flash, don't need to talk about it, piece of shit. Michael Keaton didn't save that film. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, haven't seen it yet, and I don't know if I will see it. Black Adam, I saw some of this, but I couldn't finish it. It was so bad. The Suicide Squad I saw on cinema, I believe. Thought it was decent. Was a good first act of the film, but I do think it fell apart in the ending. Wakanda Forever. This was a terrible, terrible bad movie. So bad that I don't want to talk about it. Thor, Love and Thunder. Maybe the worst superhero movie ever made. Brutally bad. Black Widow. No, maybe this is the worst superhero movie ever made. Holy shit, it was bad. It's actually filmed in Norway, some part of it, but yeah. Still haven't seen this one, and I don't know if I ever will, but this will probably be the last superhero movie I ever buy, at least for many years. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I thought this was decent. Was part of it I didn't like, part of it I really liked, but yeah. Dragonheart, so this is a nostalgia fest for me. Love Sean Connery's voice as Draco, and yeah, I'm looking forward to check this out again. I haven't seen it since probably mid-2000s or something, but I saw it tons of times as a kid. The Fugitive, a movie I really like. It's one of those films that never goes old. Good thriller. The only bad thing about it, I think, is the ending. I'm not a big fan of the way it ends. The Monster Squad, the story is okay, but I just love everything else in it. The effects, the creature designs, the kids are fun. It's for me one of the best kid movies out there. It takes kids seriously, and that's the most important thing. Planes, Trains and Automobiles. So this is, I counted this. I think it's on the third place of my favorite John Candy's films. The only movies that goes over this one is Uncle Buck and Cool Runnings, but it's close up there. I love it, and I don't count Home Alone as John Candy. He's in it, but yeah, it's not his film. So The Social Network, I'm not the biggest fan of this film, but it's still a good film. I just needed it to have it. I know I will go back to watch it again. It's beautiful stuff in the film, absolutely. But I think it was good the first time I saw it. When I rewatched it, it wasn't that good anymore. I'm super happy to have Panic Room on 4K because I only had it on DVD. So it's a really great film to upgrade. This is a movie I can watch over and over again. I do love the first half of the film best. There is a time when somebody dies in the film without spoiling it. I think the movie falls a little bit apart. But Kristen Stewart, Jodie Foster is great in it. I wish actually they had Nicole Kidman in it instead of Jodie Foster. Something with Kidman that works better, I think, as this kind of character she is in that. So, last of the Red Hot Lovers. This is a 70s drug comedy, I believe. I never heard about it before, but I need to check it out. I do like these releases. Gene Sachs has directed it. That's the same dude who did Odd Couple, a movie I saw back in the days. Looking forward to check it out. Next one up is Female Perversion, 90s drama, early American film with Tilda Swinton. Never heard of it before. I think it's on early feminist, not early, but feminist films from the 90s. Probably why I steered away from it. I don't know. Joy of Sex, 80s comedy, just the way I like it. But I've never seen this. Same director did Real Genius, Valley Girl, Out of Sea, and some other films I've heard about or maybe seen. Ernie Hudson is in this one. Colin Camp, Lisa Langlois, again Lisa. And there's a small role in this one also from Christoph Lloyd, as far as I know. I think this is a coming-of-age comedy, if I'm not mistaken. Something about virginity and sex or something like that. But just up my alley of movies I love from the 80s. Next one up is the new Forgotten Jolly release, Volume 8. So this is Rings of Fear, it's Reflection in Black, and AAA Massos, Good Looking Offer Her Service. I haven't seen any of them, but yeah, we'll see. Next one up is Gladiator, Titan of Cult release. So this is the number 8 I have in the collection. There has been more, but I don't have every one of them. The next one is John Wick, but I will not be picking that one up. I only buy the ones I really want, and Gladiator was one of them. And it's also the best looking release they have done so far, the Gladiator release. Now this one is special. A Scandinavian 4K release of the Pusher trilogy from Nicholas Winding Refn. This is amazing. Zlatko Buric, Mats Mikkelsen, Kim Bodnia, and many, many more. Really great films. I like the first and second best. The third one is okay, but I'm super excited to see them on 4K. So that was everything. Thank you for watching, and I hope I see you here again. We will be back with Rotten Stream in just 3 weeks, I think it is. Hope I see you there. Have a good one. Bye 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 bye.
Listen up, cause it's about time. Love and sex is still no crime. Everybody needs information here, there, in every nation. Turn on the Rotten Stream and feel your mind get lean. Keep control, don't jerk off too fast. Save your soul and make it last. Gizzy, Brian, Tony, Tex is all ready for your sexy ex. Hops and Guy will make you cry, and Spence is bad inside. Who made you? The Rotten is for you to view. Who made you? The Rotten is for you to view. Again on a higher stage, listen to my party beat and get enraged. My name is Gismo, but call me Gizzy. Just like your mother when I single her fizzy. You know the feeling, jumping and screaming. I'm other Mr. Pops, calling him Mr. Gator. Check me, caveman, talk to the caveman, man rock. As the clock goes tick, ticky, tick, tock. Tony, no worry, the stream is on, no time to hurry. Hear the tale in a Gizzy man way. So listen to what me wanna say. Who made you? The Rotten is for you to view. Who made you? The Rotten is for you to view.
Happy as ever, rhymes quite clever. Respect to the world, cause I'm down for whatever. Wrote my rhyme for you to enjoy. You're watching the Rotten Stream, jumping for joy. Yo, how to throw a pair of dice. Be hot, be cool, be cold as ice. Ring ding dong, ring a ding a ding dong. In the 70s style's a Gizzy song. Sing it Pops, sing it Tony. Text dance. Break it Tony, break it down. Brian goes blue, get her the loo. And show us some respect before Coco goes loco. Go mad, go wild, go nasty, go free. Flip that to the caveman industry.
Who made you? The Rotten is for you to view. Who made you?
Boss, Brian, Tony, Tex, that motherfucking caveman is in the house. Pet the cat, jerk off the rat. Flip the burger, show the finger before you act like a singer. Shag me, baby, I want it now. Whoa, oh baby, I can't stop yearning. A licky boom, boom down. Welcome, we're about to hit the clown. Pussy got bank in her pockets before she got dick in her drawers. If brother didn't have good and plenty of his own in love, pussy never did fall. My pen will go off when I half cock it. Got a fat nut from that rap profit. We will show and you will pick. So suck on this dick.
Gismo is tipping rope in the park. A tisket, a tasket, no lunch in his basket. I got the pimp master degree, and your mother is just for free. Pussy got bank in her pockets before she got dick in her drawers. Gizzy is in love with pussy, but the pussy never falls. Who made you? you view. Who made you? Rotten is for you view. And everyone was rocking to the rotten. Only cat pussy flavor to the bone. We ain't got any gators, but we do have a frog on the phone. Let's get down and dirty. Let's talk to the Freddy hand. And don't be spreading your sickness. This is the godmother land of rotten control. Who made you? The rotten is for you to view. Who made you? The rotten is for you to view. Holy and Annie Del Mel. Who made you? The rotten is there for you. Rhyme the spicy Wilkie Bob. Turd creamy ass breaking butthole sake of a King Kong sperm inside your fucking shit. Love you. Who made you?